Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Liberal Loudmouth. So I've decided to do a new series, and I'm going to go through all the little videos that Donald Trump has made since he was made president-elect. And I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to put it in a playlist so that you can just easily go through it and hear, a punditry version of the video as we watch it together. Now, I've sped it up a little bit because I don't want to listen to this guy any longer than I have to, but it is what it is. So let me go ahead and pull this first one up. This is President Trump's plan to save American education and give power back to parents. Okay, this ought to be a good one. But here we go. All right, come on. Let's get it, Trump. Let me speed this up.
Our public schools have been taken over by the radical left maniacs. Here's my plan to save American education and restore power to American parents. First, we will cut federal funding for any school or program pushing critical race theory, gender ideology, or other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. We're not going to allow it to happen.
Okay, so first thing, he's going to get rid of the Department of Education. That's what he said he's going to do. How are you going to go after federal funding when you've cut the apparatus for funding those schools in the first place? Anyway, let's continue.
Next, I will direct the Department of Justice and Education to open civil rights investigations into any school district that has engaged in race-based discrimination. That includes discrimination against Asian Americans. The Marxism being preached in our schools is also totally hostile to Judeo-Christian teachings, and in many ways it's resembling an established new religion. Can't let that happen. For this reason...
Okay, he's claiming that there's this Marxist ideology, whatever thing. It's not true, but whatever, that's what he's saying. And that it's attacking Judeo-Christian teachings, which I guess he thinks is also happening in school, which if it is, it shouldn't be. We aren't a Christian nation. We're a nation of whatever religion you want to be. Then he said it resembles an established new religion, which we can't let that happen. The president of the United States is saying that we won't allow a religion to exist. So much for the First Amendment, right? I mean, the government can't tell you that you can't have a new religion. If a new religion exists, he doesn't get to say, no, we can't have that. We're going to get rid of it. That is unconstitutional. But hey, that's what he said, and that's, I'm sure, what he'll try to do. Anyway, let's continue.
In my administration will aggressively pursue potential violations of the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause of the Constitution. That's very simple. Additionally, on day one, we will begin to find and remove the radical zealots and Marxists who have infiltrated the Federal Department of Education. And that also includes others, and you know who you are.
Wait. You're going to get rid of the Department of Education, and then you're going to go in and fire the people that you disagree with in the thing that you're going to get rid of. Make it make sense, please.
Because we're not going to allow anybody to hurt our children. Joe Biden has given these lunatics unchecked power. I will have them fired and escorted from the building, and I will tell Congress that any appropriations bill I sign must reaffirm the president's ability to remove defiant employees from the job. It's all about our children. I will veto the sinister effort to weaponize civics education. We will keep men out of women's sports, and we will create a new credentialing body that will be the gold standard anywhere in the world to certify teachers who embrace patriotic values, support...
Okay. Him and Ryan Walters have come out and said, and I just did a video about this. They said that the federal government is telling states what to do, and we have to give power back to the states. This man literally just said we're going to create a credentialing body that certifies teachers from the federal level. So let me get this straight. You want to remove the Department of Education and create something else that you control, and you want more authority over states than you currently have. That's what he just said. Let's rewind and listen to it again.
We will keep men out of women's sports, and we will create a new credentialing body that will be the gold standard anywhere in the world to certify teachers who embrace patriotic values, support our way of life, and understand that their job is not to indoctrinate children, but very simply to educate them.
Okay, so yeah, you're going to create another department that credentials teachers at a federal level, but they have to be patriotic and they have to agree with my values, and only then can you be a teacher. So essentially a loyalty test for all teachers in the entire United States that is from the federal government dictated into the states. Yet you're claiming that you want to give power back to the states. Please tell me you guys see through this bullshit. I mean, I know his 30%, hardline base cult members aren't going to, but any regular thinking person should be able to discern this and to see exactly what kind of hypocritical bullshit, contradictory crap he's spewing here. Anyway, let's continue.
Finally, I will implement massive funding preferences and favorable treatment for all states and school districts that make the following historic reforms in education. 1, abolish teacher tenure for grades K through 12 so we can remove bad teachers and adopt merit pay to reward good teachers. We want...
Okay. So the federal government now wants to create... This guy that wants to get rid of the Department of Education is saying that he is going to implement new rules that prohibit states from allowing tenure within, for any grade. I do, however, agree with getting rid of shitty teachers. The problem is that schools operate like police departments. They protect their own. That's all they do. Like they're a self-protecting body, just like the police department. Even when they know somebody's fucking up, they won't ever admit that it's wrong and then get rid of those problematic people. That's an issue with bureaucracy in general, and the schools are dealing with that. So I agree that we should get rid of bad teachers, but not dictated from the federal level. This is kind of insane.
Great teachers in our schools. 2, drastically cut the bloated number of school administrators, including the costly, divisive, and unnecessary diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucracy. 3, adopt a parental bill of rights that includes complete curriculum transparency and a form of universal school choice.
Now, I don't disagree with the parental bill of rights. Schools have largely, they blame parents for every one of their own failings. And they're very divisive towards parents. A lot of times I have to make sure that every word in a email that I'm writing to any teacher indicates no ill will or anything. I can't even be aggravated or frustrated with the teacher these days because they automatically come at you with the assumption that you're a bad parent. Despite the fact that, like, I'm literally contacting you on behalf of my child, so you would think that they would assume that you're doing what's best for the child. But so that stuff needs to stop. But Donald Trump isn't going to fix that.
And 4, implement the direct election of school principals by the parents. It's all about the parents for their children. More than anyone else, parents know what.
Wait. Directly elect the principals of every school district? What? We don't need to politicize the fucking principals. Okay, I can understand electing the superintendent of a school and the board of a school, or even the way that it's set up in, say, Oklahoma, where you elect the board and the board appoints the superintendent, because it insulates them from being political people, even though they are, but that's more like office politics in how they operate. But electing principals, what the fuck? Whatever, Donnie.
Children need. If any principal is not getting the job done, the parents should be able to vote to fire them and select someone who will. This will be the ultimate form of local control. Our country has, frankly, never had anything like it, or let's say for at least the last...
Yeah, we've never had anything like it because it's fucking ridiculous. People don't vote in school elections. Majority of people don't show up to the polls for school board elections. You think they're going to show up and be like, I know exactly. Okay, I got 12 different schools here, and I'm going to pick this principal I don't know anything about, and I'm going to pick this principal that I don't know anything about. And you're going to make these principals run for office? What? It's just so you can grease palms and completely take over the school. That's what he's trying to do. You pay for these elections with these principals in every school, and now all of a sudden the principals don't have a boss. They aren't being overseen by the superintendents. They're overseen by the voting block. So now they're not doing what's in the best interest of the children. They're doing what will keep them in power. That is insane.
Last 50 years. As the saying goes, personnel is policy. And at the end of the day, if we have pink-haired communists teaching our kids, we have a major problem. When I'm
pink-haired communists teaching our kids. So this guy has an issue with teachers that color their hair. And communist. Oh, you're telling me every person with pink hair is a commie. This guy can't even spell communist.
president, we will put parents back in charge and give them the final say. We will get back to teaching reading, writing, and math, called arithmetic, and we will give our kids the high-quality pro-American education they deserve. We spend more per pupil than any nation in the world by double. We're going to keep spending the money, but we're now going to get our money's worth. We're at the end of every list on education, and yet we spend the most. We're going to change it around. We may spend the most, but we're going to be tops in education, no matter where you go, anywhere in the world. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there you have it. Kind of crazy to elect principals. That's extremely weird. I don't want the principals of my kids' school having to worry about running every 2 years or 4 years or every year, whatever they want to do. That's weird. Now, administrative bloat is a problem in the U.S. It really is. In Oklahoma, I mean, you're talking about administrators in Tulsa. I believe, God, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but she was making like $400,000 a year as the superintendent of Tulsa Public Schools. That's insane. In Owasso Public Schools, just down the road, the superintendent makes like $180,000 a year, while the teachers are making $50,000 a year. That's nuts to me. And a lot of teachers set their sights on administrative work so that that they're not teaching anymore, and you end up losing teachers to this transition or whatever. We can find administrators that are going to get paid around the same as the teachers, and I would argue that teachers should be paid a lot better in the U.S. than they currently are. You can reduce the administrative staff, and then you can actually even out the money that's spent on the teachers. Teachers are the key to schools, not administrators. Yes, administrators are important. It is a vital function of the school. They need administrators, but that shouldn't be the focus and where most of the money gets spent, in the hands of the fewest number of people. I know in Owasso Public Schools, there were 10 people, and it was costing them $1 million every year just to pay those 10 people. You realize how many teachers that is? That's a lot. So in that regard, with Trump, I agree. The administrative bloat is a little too much, but there's a balance there. You don't want to get administrators in there that are like, oh, I'll take $60,000 a year and go in there and just fuck everything up. They should be compensated, but the teachers should too. The teachers and the administrators should not be making that much more than each other. They, at the very least, need to be at a level playing field. So you need to reduce the bloat, increase the pay for the teachers because they have to deal with a lot of shit. But then you expect more out of those teachers, which is what we see in other countries. Teachers are treated similar to doctors in other nations. They're revered in society to the level of what we would revere a doctor. So we need to focus on teachers and good teachers. So in that regard, I agree with Trump that bad teachers have to go and good teachers need to be paid well and administrators need to be reduced. Absolutely. But his whole rant about this ideology, the woke, the commie, the Marxist, that's all bullshit rhetoric. It's not true. It's not happening. He's not going to fix that. And on one hand, he's arguing to get rid of the federal government. We got to give power back to the parents. And then on the other hand, he's like, but because I'm in charge, I want to be the one to tell all the states what to do. That's not giving local control back to the schools. And then the control was never taken from the schools in the states. And if you don't believe me, go look at the video I just posted just before this as to why they're lying about this. Anyway, that's this first one. I'm going to be doing more over the next couple of days and weeks. And I'm going to get through them all, because if they're as unhinged as this one was, this should be a pretty entertaining thing to watch. All right, guys, this is the Liberal Loudmouth. We'll catch you next time. Peace.